Welcome to A Pint with Seaniebee. I'm sitting in Kinsale. I've got a mental guest here today. Like any of you who've been following this show, this is going to blow the doors off, okay? I am about to interview a guy called Antonio Fernandez in his hotel room. He is a very famous and infamous character. He's a former gang leader of a gang called the Latin Kings, a very famous Latin American Hispanic gang. His story is one of he turned the gang from being an organized crime gang into one that tried and still tries to focus on political movement and justice for his people. Anyway, I'm welcoming to the podcast Antonio Fernandez. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
And thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You have a good buddy who's working in Kinsale's. She told me, hey, you got to do this guy. He's pretty cool, you know. He's about his, you know, she was a little more adamant than the other people she probably wants you to.
There's a lot of stuff written about you, and there's been a HBO documentary made by John Alpert, which apparently is very, very good. How did you end up from your family, from a small child, getting into this area?
Well, it's basically the story of what I call the immigrant. I'm a third generation, I'm Puerto Rican. My mother and father were the second generation, came with their parents, and I was the third. When they came in, it was tough, you know. We were at the time in New York in the early 70s. You had the Black Power movement for the rights of you know, the Black American.
Black Panthers.
Martin Luther King, all that. There was a lot of things going on, but what I couldn't understand and know, I knew I wasn't black, I knew I wasn't white, but I didn't know I was a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was and where did I fit in there.
Talk to you about that, because I've lived in America as well, and there is the Hispanic. You can be Puerto Rican, you can be Mexican, you can be from South America, you can be from Spain. There wasn't, never felt to me, the same cohesion that there was in African Americanism. Even though they're all from different countries as well, historically. Yes. But there wasn't that kind of organizing concept, I felt.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like, I remember a politician that was running in New York, Badillo. He was running for mayor. And it's the first time I ever heard of a Latin or Puerto Rican man even try to get some form of seat of power. And I was feeling left out in the sense that, you know, financially we wasn't competing. My father, he worked many years. My mother.
Whereabouts in New York did you live?
Well, I live in East New York, Brooklyn. It's it's a very, if you look in the 60s, they made another documentary called The 75th. And it's about the precinct of where I grew up. And dirty cops from that prison who helped. They said we were the bad guys, the Puerto Ricans, the blacks. But the whole community was in some way corrupt because they were all, I think the 60s, 70s in New York was crazy because everybody was trying to find an identity, what they were going to do, and how they were going to compete in this capitalistic state while they had no capital. They had no voice.
Yeah. And it was ghetto, the Irish were
ghetto,
over there,
the Irish
Italian.
left, and usually it was like that. The Italian already left it. All the other immigrants that have moved on and had the ability to move forward, we inherited the leftovers. East New York used to look like, I'm not kidding you, it was a part of Vietnam War, because in the building you have 2 good houses and the other 6 were burned. And I hated it. And more than anything, I hated being poor. What I was seeing was if I couldn't compete with what the TV was putting into my house, I wasn't equal to the people outside of my house. I became a consumer of wanting things to be able to compete instead of understanding that the values at home were going to give me what I needed later on to compete the right way. So I wasn't a gang member first. First I became a drug dealer.
How many of you in your family? Was there?
Okay, I got 4 sisters. I'm the second to youngest. I'm the only boy. Being the only boy and 4 sisters, I also was an inheritor of the most wanted thing in the ghetto was pussy. Nah, I don't mean to be rude.
Yeah.
But every dude was my friend.
Yeah, because of your sisters.
And then I started figuring out, these motherfuckers don't really want to be with me. They hunted my sisters.
Were you very protectful of your sisters?
Yes, too protectful. And I was the youngest.
Yeah.
Because in the ghetto, the boy takes care of the sister. My father, even though I was young, he said, watch your sisters. So I always thought I was the man of the house after him.
Yeah.
And dudes used to beat mans to show me you ain't a man yet. We could talk to your sister. And in that challenge, I started I was getting more angry because one, I didn't have none. The only thing I had, I couldn't protect. The system was telling me, in school, already in 3rd grade, I wasn't competing because I was Spanglish. I didn't understand the English language. My father and mother spoke Spanish and English to us.
Right.
Very big, confusing time in my life.
Yeah.
And I was just lost.
Very religious?
Yeah, my mother and father, since the day I was born, Jesus has been in my house.
Yeah.
I couldn't get rid of the dude. He just been there.
We have a lot in common with the Irish.
Yeah.
We're all churched here.
Yeah, and the sad part is that was the other thing, that the pastor was filling our whole community because was poor to get our mom's little $5 in dues. The message was, if they're messing up, throw them out in the street and let the devil burn them till they come back.
Yeah.
But the pastor never was right. You don't come back. So when I said, that was another thing, I said, this Jesus dude's a little tough, damn. He's perfect, and this lady wanted me to be perfect, and that's far from perfection where I'm from.
I mean, there's huge hypocrisy.
Yeah, exactly. The whole deal of what they preach to our parents to make it seem that as a child, we shouldn't make mistakes. We shouldn't explore and fall.
And sexuality, and meanwhile our priests are doing
that. So in that mist and that confusion as a young man, I started looking for guidance, because in 3rd grade, my teacher was a very mean bastard, and he didn't know how to connect why I wasn't learning. So every Friday I used to cheat on the spelling test. I can't spell to this day.
Really? Was he beating you and shit?
No, he wasn't beating. What he would do Fridays, he knew I played hooky, but when I came, I had a girlfriend, little Mildred, in 3rd grade, and she knew I couldn't spell, and she knew I was hit, but she used to help me. We cheated. He used to catch me all the time, because the bastard knew I had to cheat to pass.
Yeah.
And he used to call me spick, and you never did put the big 0 on the board. And then one day I remember I was sitting in my chair, made me cry, and I picked up my head and I said, I am not gonna do this no more. I'm gonna be a drug dealer. Because every day I woke up, my guys were in the corner. They were making money. When my mother couldn't give me, I'd go to the corner, they give me 50 cents, they give me $1. They watched out for the blind. It was a very different, drug dealers are evil. There was a time in East New York, if we didn't have drug dealers, we didn't have money. There would be no income in there.
Can I paint a picture in my head a bit like The Wire?
Yes. You get it?
Yeah.
That's what...
And you were one of the little runner guys, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started first I looked out and they say, don't worry, you're not touched, just look out.
Keep sketch for the cops. Yeah.
Bajando, that means he's coming. The cops see me, he know I'm calling, but he can't mess with me.
Yeah.
Earn me a lot of
What age are you now?
I'm there already like 9, 10 years old.
That young? Wow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I didn't wait long. So after that choice of telling my teacher no more and not going, I started playing hooky. My mother had 4 daughters to worry about.
Yeah.
She's learning English. She was 18 when she got married. So you say she got married 18, and already when I was gone, there was already one after another 4.
Yeah.
I used to hate my mother because I thought she was supposed to be my mother and she knew everything. Little did I know she was a kid growing up too with 4 girls, but I didn't know it then.
Yeah. She's still an adult to you then. She's still a girl.
You have 4, you know what you're doing. Yeah. I think she's an adult, but she.
And was your old man around? Like, was he?
All the time.
Yeah.
My mother and father now almost married 67 years. And all my sisters went to school.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, this theory of gangbanger is because they got a crackhead mother or a crackhead father and all this. The American ideology of capitalism made me a gangbanger. It forced me to seek the riches that it told me, like, when we grow up, we see TV.
Advertising.
The advertising, they go, hey, if you're bad, you don't get no toys. But in my fucking neighborhood, we didn't get toys because we were poor, but we assumed we were bad.
Yeah.
Because that's what you said. Santa Claus makes a list. Yeah. You better be naughty or nice.
Meanwhile, Jesus is saying
Jesus the same. So I got tired of that aspect. And I said, all right, I know how to get it. So I started learning the drunk game. I was selling marijuana.
And you were keeping all this from your old man, or was he in knowledge?
Yeah, no, they knew something was happening, but they didn't know what was happening because my parents were naive. To them, the streets were still the same streets that they grew up on.
Just stay out of trouble. Don't get your nose dirty.
Of course the neighbors out the window screaming. Yeah. But they didn't know that our president already made a deal with Oliver North to bring in cocaine for guns.
Contras, yeah.
And all of a sudden, my neighborhood had this beautiful thing called cocaine. And we had the dope from the Vietnam War that already came with them. Not that they brought it, but they came with the sickness from the war of the dope habit. And my neighborhood was full with dope and coke. And,
so we're talking early 70s.
70s and now 80s we going, right? I'm getting to the 80s and I'm married.
When was the first time you picked up a gun? What age were you? Can you remember?
when I picked up a gun, I was probably 12, 13.
Jeepers, right.
And while this transition goes, I'm just showing you this process of 4 or 5 years. You see little Tone from 3rd grade start growing up, and now he's not. My nickname was Pachi, an endearing name.
Pachi is kiss.
Yeah, Pachi. You know, and when I went to the street and they called me Pachi, I said, "Oh, this name ain't gonna do good in this ghetto. That shit is too sweet." Who's a Pachi?
Were you a fighter?
What's a Pachi? I got it. So
where'd you learn to fight? Just on the streets?
Yeah. When I went out, I have 4 sisters, and when they said something stupid, they called her a bitch, I fought.
Yeah.
A lot of them I lost.
But you learned.
I learned to fight. Winning wasn't the objective. The objective in my hood was that you fought. You win or lose, nobody cared.
No,
you weren't. They want to see you fight.
You weren't a pussy.
Yeah, you weren't a pussy. Then they'll kiss your black eye. Even the dude who beat your ass maybe loved you after it.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times, but it was that they wanted to make sure you knew how to fight, because you had to fight to live there.
So were you making pretty good money by the time you were 16? Sort of?
Yeah, 16. So the marijuana got a little. Remember, all the Jamaicans came in and they wanted the herb game, and it became a bloody war. That in one day in the Daily News, the center page, it was called Dog Day After Moon. 3 Jamaicans were dead, a couple Puerto Ricans, and cops got shot. And because of that action, they were looking for me now. That form of money gang. I was already in 9th grade. You know, I was going through the process. I don't mean 9th grade and like I went to school. I'm talking when that time they passed you just to pass you.
Right.
To move you forward.
Just to get you out of the system.
Yeah, so my mother was like, oh, he went to 6. Yeah. He's in 7th.
What about the first time you took drugs? What was that like?
I was like 9 in Dawsher Street, and we had what we call the dungeon, the basement. And of course it was the older guys. The older guys thought it was funny. It was
watch you getting high.
Getting us high, spinning us. Remember the strobe lights?
Yeah.
And then we throw up and everything. And I remember one night, the first time I really got drunk, I was like after I left school 9 years old, I walked home. It was right around the block from the dungeon. And I just had to fall in my stair. I couldn't make it upstairs. And my father gets home from work like 3 in the morning. And I'm on the stairs and he comes in and I hear the dope and he looks me on the stair. And it was the funniest thing because you thought he's mad I can't walk. He cracked a smile like, look at my fucking boy.
He thought you were drunk, I presume.
Yeah. He's a man now. He's learning the street.
Same here in Ireland. That all happens.
Your manhood. And then it gave me a false impression of what would make him happy and proud of me.
I see.
Not that he meant it. He didn't know I was already getting high to make other people laugh. I was getting high to coexist with this non-identity that I had. So I went into the heroin game.
Right.
I created a brand called COD, which meant cash on delivery.
Yeah.
So I had an elder on top of me, but he had the drugs, he had the thing, but I always had this creativeness. So that was the first time I really became a businessman, a marketeer and everything, because I already had the runner down.
It's very interesting that you had that in you. You didn't learn that in school.
No.
Yeah.
It was, I watched my community.
Yeah.
I was observant.
You did what you saw on the television.
Yeah.
With drugs. You made a brand. Yeah.
So COD, I said, fuck what I want when I sell this dope, cash on delivery.
Yeah, perfect. And then once you have the brand, did you also understand that you go, whenever I sell whatever, it has to be fucking good shit?
No, that was it, because the guy brought me something called Chocolate Farms, so it was a brown dope.
Right.
For the shooters. And then I found out what was the white dope.
Okay.
So the snorters. But the most thing I knew was this and this is a true story, playing hooky. I used to watch all my friends' dads and moms that were on heroin. For some strange reason, I got kicked out the house at 6:30 in the morning because it was girls' day. It was the girls to clean. Yeah. And the boy don't clean the house. The boy gets the fuck out. I sit in the corner and watch, and all the glass shining around. And then I used to see, and there was this one of my friend's father, when he was his name, he was a heroin addict, and he was in Vietnam. That's how I learned the story. He used to sit to me and preach to me about the addiction he had.
Right.
And how evil it was, and where he got it. But what I found out that every heroin addict wakes up sick. He told me about this thing.
Yeah.
And he used to tell me at night when he hustled, why he was hustling, so he could get the night bag. So when I opened COD, the guy gave me 5 bundles. It's $500 at that time. 60-40, right?
Yeah.
I'm a young kid. He's saying, let's see what you do. I gave him all away. He didn't understand. So when he came back, he was like, give me the 5, and I'll give you how drug dealers, I'll give you more, 10.
Yeah.
I said, I need 25, but I don't got the 5.
And you're a whipper. You're a young fella.
So he's in the car, he's getting mad. So then I'm hoping I'm not explaining, because I say to him, I'm waiting for a reaction of something I put to plan with COD, but I didn't know if it was gonna work. So what I did, I gave the 5 bundles away for free to all the heroin addicts. And this was the promise I made for COD. You bring me 1 guy, every bag you give me, you sell for me, I give you $1. You sell 10, I give you a bag. You do that for me from 8 to the night, you'll always have your morning bag. You don't come with me with a customer. Yeah. You come with me with your runny nose, I'm gonna secure you. And then at night, I'm gonna put you to sleep right. That, in a week after I gave the 5, we're struggling. But when he came to get his money, he was waiting, right? And I'm waiting for my brother. There's gotta be a line out there. Because it was the first, I said, there's gotta be a line so far. Because I told everybody, it's out there. They know it's good dope. I kid you not. I call them my brother-in-laws because later I got with one of the girls that were the sisters. You know how it is.
Yeah, of course.
He runs to the window, he knocks, and he goes, yo, they're out there. We need now. And Andy's like, he got in the strings, like, what do you mean? And when he goes around the block, I swear to God, you thought Star Wars movie came out. There was a line of dope fiends with white people next to them wanting 2 or 3 bundles. That's 10 at a time.
So now you have word of mouth. Yeah.
Not only word of mouth, I took the despiser, the deplorables, and I gave them value. I told them, I can't make money without you. And I'll take care of you for take care of me. That was my drug empire.
That was your first gang, yeah.
And what happened was real quickly was not understanding that the adult was using me. I was making, and I kid you not, every 2 to 3 weeks we would make, $300,000.
What?
I was 16, I had my own apartment next to my mother.
Where'd you put the money?
In safes that he used to take.
Wow.
I didn't care because you know what? We could get 12 cabs and put 20 of our friends in cabs because we couldn't drive and go to the Deuce, 42nd Street, and look high, Gazelli's and what the fuck I care how much the boss was making. Me and my crew, we eating. And that's when I first found the Bandito, the Bond.
You talked about in one of the organizational structure of gangs and how helpful that is. If you have an addiction, if you're in trouble with the cops, if you're in trouble with, you've got a band of brothers who you can turn to.
So that was, first it was the drugs. So what happened there is, those things that I learned at home, everything that I see now, I'm getting older, I came to hate, not myself. I hated the community. I hated my parents. I mean, I was so disgusted when I found out that money could make a Christian turn a blind eye.
To everything, yeah.
You get it? Yeah. I seen that my mother used to fight with me for selling it, but when times got hard for the rent, she would come and knock on my spot door and say, you couldn't tell. So I used to give her the money in emergency. And
You're a good boy.
You're a good boy for this moment.
Yeah.
But then when her friends looked, she would scream at me of the drug dealer I was.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing you that whole thing.
Inside your own head, were you realizing that the life you were picking and going down was going to end badly?
So I did what every coward does when he wants out but doesn't know how. I self-mutilate myself with crack. So I found peace in cocaine, then the crack came, 80s now, like 81, 82, and I get addicted on crack. Heavy shit, but you know what? I loved every fucking minute of it. You don't know how beautiful it is when you stand in a corner and nobody sees you. All they see, look at that bum, look at Tony, he used to be a drug dealer, look, he's fucked up, that's the son, he's a crackhead. Stinking, I mean, I was out there for almost 4 years. But I just didn't want to be part of the system no more. I didn't want to be a drug dealer, I didn't want to be a son.
At this stage you had loads of money. Loads of money.
And you get what I mean? I seen that money didn't give me.
It's interesting that there's a bum on the street. We have a huge homeless problem here, I know you probably read about it. And everyone goes, don't give them money because they're just looking for drugs or for booze. You know what? I go, so fucking what? What if the guy wants to drink himself to death? I'll buy him a beer.
Buy him a beer.
You know?
Well, you fucking... So, I was a young boy crack guy.
Yeah.
And I remember that I became a product on the street, what I'm saying, to support I became Robin Hood. Yeah. So I was the dude who used to like to go stick up my own spots that I created that were making money now. And now the guys I brought up and show how to make the money used to call me a crackhead. Yeah. So at night I used to come with the red rag around my face and rob them, of course.
And put the money into the community.
No, rob, get high with the community that was too poor to go and didn't have the balls to rob. You get it?
Yeah.
So I said, wait, an abandoned building, I have
And they knew who you were.
Yeah, that was the funny part. So finally, after all the robberies, My boss was like, I love Tone. He made me money, but I got to stop him. So
now, in all this time, I presume there's death, violence, gunshots, gangs fighting each other.
My mom's, so you could picture, I went from having dreads to cutting them off after the dreads left and I went to war, to becoming a good dress. And remember, my spot that I sold drugs were 4 buildings away from my mother's house. So I ran away from home 4 doors down. And my mother and my father used to sit and say, who is that dude? They see me come with 2 guns on the avenue, blowing against the other drug dealers. And they like, is this my fucking son?
They didn't know it was you.
No, it's over. You get it? They didn't even talk to me. Like, I would pass them. It was a stranger's relation. My sister stopped talking to me. You know, I became... But the important part was I knew it was my conscience.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to touch on earlier,
That my mother and father since birth, even though I know Jesus and everything, they taught me respect, honesty. They taught me love. They told me like, hey, you don't need all that. You get it? That was in me, but I didn't understand it. So the confusion drove me to madness.
I mean, it's still in you.
No,
it doesn't go away.
No, it didn't. It was still there, and I just didn't know it was driving me crazy because I knew I wanted to save somebody, but I couldn't save myself. So in that sorriness, I had 7 open cases throughout, for all the stuff. And I remember the judge. I went one day and I was just smoked out, dirty, stinking. And the judge says, Tone, I can't do this no more. Cause I know you're an addict. In that time, remember, programs are full, Rikers Island is full. She goes, I don't want to lock you up because you're not a real bad guy. You're just an addict. I just looked up like now because I couldn't pick up my body. I was probably 80 pounds wet. I could no longer stand straight because I was sucked up, my whole, water. And I said, please give me a break. If you let me out, I'm going to rob somebody in front of the court. I needed to be saved.
You were trying to incarcerate yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to be saved.
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't save myself at that point. And she locked me up. And I went to Rikers Island, and now it's 86, 84, 85, 86, right? I'm in there just going in now as a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Then they sentenced me. When I went to Rikers Island, 88, there's this thing on there. It was different this time, Rikers Island. Because every time I went in, they had black power groups.
Yeah.
Like they had gangs, Muslims, guard bodies. They had a white gangs.
Nation of Islam.
The whole lot that still was stronger. The Latino didn't have one. And this dude named Luis Felipe, see, I just knew the name, started this thing called the Latin Kings in New York City in Collins Correctional Facility. It started in 86. In 88, it already did what gangs do within the prison. It fought the Muslims. It showed its power. And we started getting safe spaces for Latin Kings.
And that Latino person is any Latino?
Any Latino.
Right. Central America, South America, whatever.
And Kings, so you'll know what made us so scary to the system, it's got more rules about what's your sex life than where you from and what color you are. So a Latin King could be any nationality, any color, any religion.
It doesn't want any it's homophobic or
it's homophobic.
Right, okay.
Because the power base was done in jail.
Yeah.
Because in jail, if you're messing with homos, what are you? You're not a strong crew. You get it? We wanted
you need to be able to fight all the things that were on. Yeah.
That's a thing that's looked down upon.
Yeah.
And I mean, in prison, yet the gay movement, the gay rights, and all those ferries with fists in New York didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Everybody was still scared.
And we all know as men, like today, that in that place there was 10% were gay and they were probably covering it up or whatever. Yeah.
Listen, I used to be in Rikers Island. I don't want to say because people get me. But I used to see power group guys and then sneak in the cells at night and get relief. And not that I judged them, but what I knew was, man, my people ain't ready yet to accept that truth. Get it?
Yeah.
But what happened was the Kings attracted me in Rikers Island. The most thing that attracted me was that they were family.
Yeah.
Like you came in, they gave you a bag. So when I went in and I seen this brotherhood amongst them, I seen them gaining ground, making safe spaces for us. Our sneakers weren't getting taken no more.
Yeah.
They were giving us the pride to fight back in jail. So in 1986, Luis Felipe, King Blood, created the Latin Kings, and the message got to me. In 1989, I hit the knee. That means I gave an oath to become a Latin King. And I didn't know how to read, I didn't know how to write, and to be a Latin King, you have to, it says there's no room in our nation for a stupid king. For a dumb king. So this manifestos, constitution, the prayer for the dead, all kind of literature you have to learn. And I told my guy who
it's still Catholicism right through it, right? Yeah.
But the thing that's crazy about kingism that was really crazy to me, it talks about the Torah. it talks about Santeria. Okay. It's a mixture of every religion, so you get the freedom to choose, right?
Okay.
So I was really like, wow, and they were talking about heroes and Lolita Lebron and Oscar and the FLN and people that fought, the young ones, get it? They wrote something that school never told me that started telling me my identity. Not the gang identity. What made them small was as a group, they decided to share what we call the culture class.
What does that mean?
Culture class mean when they started telling me where I came from, why I came from, who was my heroes in Puerto Rico and how the Iraq Indians, how we were conquered. So right when I hit the knee, I become a king, I get knowledge. I kid you not, since 1986, I never felt or had the urge to do cocaine or crack again. Crack is hard to kick.
Yeah, you.
I've been in programs that did it all.
You got off in prison, where a lot of people get on it.
With 10 pages of literature.
Yeah.
Cured me.
Oh, so the actual manifesto of the
Lion Kings converted my life.
Okay.
Listen, if there's anything that I've ever had, a personal experience, one-on-one, that event, like Paul in the Bible, was when I read the Lion King literature.
So you come out a changed man.
So I read it, I felt it, drugs is out of my system, but in Rikers Island I still watched, and I seen the power and the numbers that we were growing, but we still had that violence cowboy mentality that America taught us. That power in groups and violence.
Yeah, and drugs and all that stuff. Where's the money going to come from? You're not going to get jobs in the bank. Yeah.
And remember, the Kings weren't in the street yet. Nah.
Okay. All was inside.
All inside. So this was the big thing that happened. So all of a sudden in 89, 90, 91, 92, guess who's coming to the streets? A bunch of guys that are organized, well-trained militarily, because we lived in the jail, but we have no clue how to transform this jail organization to what it was in Chicago, street organization.
So now you're going to have the people who are out there going, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Yeah.
And then you're going to have the dudes that are the people that they telling what the fuck you think you're doing, saying, we doing what we taught you. In Rikers Island, you get out of place, you get punished.
Yeah.
Somebody fucks with us, they kill one of us, we hurt 5 of them. You get it? So they were still living under
now we're having a civil war.
Because jail mentality against in a free world. And I come out in 91. And I knew Luis Felipe through letters. And of course, I was there like 4 years. And I put enough work and knowledge into the Kings that he knew my name. And when he knows your name, you know, your favorite.
Yeah.
He knew me enough to know that I fixed jails for him. Again, I knew how to go in. So one of my first thing in jail was...
You used to visit him in jail, presumably? No.
I've never touched,
really, okay,
felt, or seen Luis Felipe, my leader, who's tattooed on my arm, until he went to court in 1996 to face 145 years in jail. And I seen him from the other on the bench, and he was on the sitting down as... So just to show you, so now I got the understanding, I got a little power from him. He sends me to the street. And it's funny because I land in the street, I got big black and golds, I call it bumblebees.
Yeah.
I wanted the world to know that Tom was no longer a crackhead.
Yeah.
But then when I got home, I realized that my mother went, so now you're not a crackhead, now you're a gangbanger. Get it? So I thought I found salvation, and she clearly cleared it up. And the same day I got released, this is a true story, she said, and if you got that shit on your neck, you gotta leave my house.
The tats, you mean?
I didn't have tats yet. The colors.
The gold, yeah.
She sent me out, and I swear to God, I walked 3 blocks moping. I didn't know where I was going to live. And there by a corner phone was 3 Latin Kings. And I looked on Jerome in pink. I never forget. I walk over there, and they go, you king? Yeah, we do our San Monterrey. You go, what's up? I just came home. So they test me. Yo, what's your 5? You know, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah,
you know, you just can't walk in the hood and not know and say. So they tested me. He said, okay, you know.
You were a big noise, by the way, at this stage. They probably didn't know that, did they?
Nah. And that's where I was quiet. And then they did their check, like they called blood, of course. You know, yo, this new dude named Tone is out here, blah, 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 you know? It was so funny because he told him, put him next to Teardrop. And that was the dude running my gang at that time. Wow. So now I just got probation. I'm carrying 2 guns. I wake up 8 o'clock in the morning. I take that dude to his job. He sells, hats and stuff for a Chinese guy. Okay. That low. I was 8 hours watching him work, making sure he was all right. Then when I was finished with him, I would go to the second highest ranking official in the Land Kings, and she was a lady and she would sleep, and I would sit out all night, make sure nobody goes to the house. That was my job.
You don't have to answer if you don't want. Did you ever do drugs again?
No, I'm not gonna. I drank beer.
But you were completely off it from when you got out of prison.
Yeah, I was complete. You know, touch marijuana.
People relapse. And
you know,
stuff
people touch a joint. You know what I've learned?
Amazing.
One of the things I've as soon as I became a king, I learned there's some non-negotiables. God damn it! And before you tell somebody else a non-negotiable, you better be able to show them the non-negotiable.
Walk your talk.
Yeah. So I said, while I was doing all that, you hear me? I had to keep a job to keep my parole from arresting me. So a lot of people know this. King Tone always held a legal job while he ran the Latin King Nation of New York.
What did you work
for 8
at?
years. I worked for Brian Inn as a mailroom manager.
Right, okay.
I worked for MTV, also in the mailroom curb.
Right.
I worked for Studio 54.
Amazing.
As a busboy. But I always was in major spots. Life brought me to special places where I seen special things happen. So Studio 54 opened my mind to that world. Get it? The dance scene, the
cocaine,
partying, cocaine.
Yeah.
You get it? I just had a world of knowledge, and I seen it. And again, I didn't want that. You get it? So when I finally come out of jail, I got a sense of me, and I got a sense of the Kings. But I know something's wrong.
Right. Why?
Because my brothers are acting like they're still in jail. And that's when it hit me. So me and Blood Behind the Lines says, what's going on? I said, you know what, brother? This shit is not cool. You get it? We're doing crazy shit, and I don't know how you don't think they're watching us, get it? I mean crazy shit.
Right, okay.
If you see the first indictment,
right.
You know, guys' heads chopped off, hands burned. You know, I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Real gruesome.
It's inter-gang, or is it inter-Latino? Inter-gang.
We got no enemies. Everybody's scared of us.
Right.
The only one that ain't scared of us is us. So Louis.
So it's internal fight.
Yeah, because we're the new cowboys on the block.
Yeah.
A lot of money
now,
and power.
What did the Panthers think of you?
Well, everybody disliked the Kings, even though everybody else accepted interracial kings and everything. New York didn't. We wanted only Latins because we were at war with the black gangs. So we thought that would infiltrate us. Everybody seen that as racial, but it was a defense mechanism because the guys we were warned.
It is very disappointing in hindsight, though, that the Kings and the Panthers weren't able to go, hey, we're kind of in this fucking shit together.
But check it out.
Okay.
So then I come home, I see the discord, and I see the chain of command, and we had an evil leader. You know, like you go through king, one of your bad kings.
Yeah.
And the public hated him.
Right.
And he tortured them. And my friends and some of my kings started disappearing, and we didn't know why. And you know when the leader tell, don't worry, we just send them to...
Yeah, we look after him.
Because everybody swears that every gang member knows everything that happens in the gang, which is a lie. 90% of the time, you don't find out about something really serious, because 90% of the time in the gang, it happens spontaneous. It's very rare that they plan it. Yeah. That's a revenge thing, but usually it pops off.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all this madness, and I'm hearing from those that are scared, yo, it's them killing us. You know, that them being our bosses. So once I roll blood, I say, yo, I don't know what's going on, but I'll tell you this, what's sweet to your mouth is going to be sour to your stomach. You got a bunch of crazy niggas running this. Let me get next to her, the lady that was in charge, and let me start using what I did in jail, how I formed, groups. He said, go ahead. And I said, don't tell nobody I work for you. I didn't want them to know. So I was an underground consultant. And slowly, I started going to different boroughs in New York, listening to the guy that was quiet, that was scared. And I started working within them without the leaders knowing. And I started raising circles of leaders within. And I'm with blood. Just tell me what's going on so I know what's going on in your circle. Get it?
Yeah.
And as I gathered information, I started building a system for him. So I seen that we were loud and proud, but didn't have nothing going for ourselves. I seen that we had leaders that were all into criminal behavior, but our guys that were into good, jobs and
community stuff,
we downgraded them. And lastly we were broke. We were fucking broke.
Yeah.
So I talked to the Lord, so I set the first thing in stage. And I'm going to show you, so when I start my process to fight these bad leaders, I got a mob of good guys now. When good fights bad.
But tooled up.
Yeah, we know what we got to do. And I remember I wake up one day and my niece wakes me up and I'm a king, right? I go, what's up, Cindy? She goes, read the paper. So this is like come on 91, now 9x4, the grand indictment hits. They pick up 32 of Latin Kings, King Blood.
Yeah.
They get him for sending to kill 7 members.
Yeah.
They got all 2,000 letters he's been writing to everybody. Right. So they pick up how I tell this story because everybody gives this credit to King Tone. Like he took over the nation, he fought for it. Yo, sometimes the planets align and everything's perfect for a star to be born. Now it's up to that star to take the opportunity to shine.
So all your enemies were lifted.
They fucking picked them up, except a couple. So now me and my crew of good.
It's now reversed. Amazing.
It's not that we wanted them to go.
No, I know.
But it saved the Civil War.
Yeah.
Of us having to get the dude. So everybody they picked up wasn't battle involved in it, but they were part of that, so they got in it.
Yeah.
So I said, me and my crew sat down and we said, fuck. So the nation that, by 94 was at 3,000 members, right? Small, jailing out, a little small structure of organization turned to about 200 of us after that guy's leadership.
Yeah.
Now we got blood in jail, we got their whole leadership, and there's a void. And the call comes from MCC. You know the word they say, yo, King Blood wants to talk to you. I got on the phone. He goes, yo, you know, in Spanish, in Cuba, they say, ponte pa lo tuyo. That means,
ponte pa lo tuyo.
Ponte pa lo tuyo. Go do what you gotta do.
Right.
I said,
tell me what happened when those guys got put into prison with blood.
So the 32 of them got indicted, federally indicted on a RICO charge, murder, conspiracy, and drug selling, 3 major felons. There were almost 7 murders, 4 of them were proved king on king crime. Sad time.
Yeah.
You're reading that you were killing each other again.
We had
While you do it, you don't notice it, but when you read who you become.
Well, any countryman killing.
So right there, I seen the indictment. Blood is now counseling me. My guy Gano, who's next to Blood, who went on the, who raised me, the guy I first saw, he got picked up too. But he was a good guy. He was supporting me on the change. So when Blood talked to me, I said, I'll do this. But you gotta let me do it my way.
Right.
Call me. You could scream at me, curse at me, call me a bitch ass nigga.
Yeah.
Send niggas to kill me. But don't bother the people.
Okay.
They're hurt. They're destroyed right now. They're scared of you. And I'm gonna bring you back, your people. I'm gonna make sure that when you go to that fucking trial, you ain't gonna
There's
feel
gonna be supporters there. Yeah.
Yo, I know you don't got a mother. I know in Cuba you didn't have a father. I know you went to jail at 12. I know how you told me they beat you. Just let me run it. I'll never ever take your place. That's yours. You're my founder. He said, I trust you, Tongo. And that's when I started. So the first thing I did was took the lessons, got scholars. We read them more than just look at them like we usually. We read our literature. And we started pulling out things like Week of the Sun, which is in March 1st. The first week we fast from morning to night. And it's a day that you, like Muslims, you only study, then you break it with your brothers. Then there was this thing called universals. And I said, what the fuck is universal? When we're reading, is where we were supposed to meet once a month, all of us, to talk monthly issues. And they had the prayers. So I said, this is it. Let's do what this shit says. Let's create holidays.
Make it a religion, yeah.
So now we know every March of every year.
Yeah, I've been at it.
There's blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So we start planning how we're going to do these universals. So then, what I teach, I wasn't scared to let outside influences in. Because I figured it this way. If you come in and you steal one of my members by preaching the Nation of Islam, he wasn't a king from the get. Get it?
Yeah.
Take who you can take. But you're building a foundation with me that we're becoming knowledgeable. So a father named Luis Barrios, Dave Brotherton, who's a Londonite, he approached me. He was like you, he was a white boy.
Yeah.
So in the midst of me figuring this out, I'm making changes, people are hearing like, there's this little dude fucking in the street doing some crazy shit, man. You should go check him,
Yeah.
But the point that I hated, everybody that came to check me came with an agenda. Like Sharpton, change your name and your stuff, and then, the Black Panthers, if you join. Everybody wanted me to join them. Yeah. And I had this fucking pride about the Latin Kings that I made sure I said, wherever we go, we'll change everything.
But we're staying as kings.
That's our past, our baggage. Fucking America killed every Native American Indian. They fucking slaved blacks.
Yeah.
They never changed their name.
No.
They never said sorry.
Yeah.
They never said forgive us. They just said let's carry on. That's our past.
But there was an inherent now suddenly understanding between the different races in America that we're getting fucked here.
We knew it.
You all agreed with that.
So
finally,
now remember, our heroes were killed, the Martin Luther Kings, the Black Panther now, the new Black Panther Collective. Yeah. It's a little different time. And all them people that were down with that movement, they did a disservice to the community. And I talked to all those that marched with Martin Luther King and all of them after they killed our great leaders. They went and hid. They went and used personal problems to say they didn't talk to him. Jesse Jackson didn't talk to Al Sharpton. Nation of Islam wouldn't talk to this. And it was so fractured.
Yeah.
You know what I did?
And it was publicly fractured as well. Because they let to bring one guy on and say, "What your man said this."
The news would put us at each other. Yeah. TED Talk, I did that shit 20 years ago. TED Talk ain't new to me.
Yeah.
So once I got to church,
I
told them, so now every 30 days, we're going to throw a party. And in this party, we feed them. We have speakers, rap shows, King of the Month, Tribe of the Month. You know, we create all kind of holidays.
So it's becoming a community thing. But the money that you're getting for these parties is coming from...
all kind of different ways.
Okay.
We got nothing.
Yeah.
But I knew.
I'm obliquely suggesting that there was still narcotics and all that
No, there's still narcotics, but we're not rich. We're selling drugs to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Get it? Not like when I had the 600,000.
Yeah.
Now I've seen hustlers that were immediately had to use the money. So when we took the church, that's why I say you first build a community. When I started doing the meetings, I started introducing them to outside influences.
You get the church on side. You made
Louis Bodies. Look, do you know how I connected it? I got the church on 126 in Amsterdam it's across the street in Black Harlem that used to hide the guns for the Black Panthers.
Right.
So Reverend George, you see, safe spaces have to have a historical value. So it was the church, not because I was holy. I just want to teach you little crazy motherfuckers there was something bigger than you.
Well, around this time, there is a priest I read who was calling you possibly a prophet.
Louis Barrios. That's his church.
Yeah.
He was a reverend. So when he seen my first meeting, my first time that King Tony introduced the uni, I think maybe 4,000 people came.
Really?
And check it out. It wasn't only kings. The kings brought their wives, their mother, which we would call outsiders. So in the church, I said, everybody's welcome. Yeah. Don't search nobody no more. There was a unique part of the church too. What was beautiful about it? The fucking precinct was across the street.
That's exactly where I was going to go next, because we have to start bringing in the other part of this. And one of the quotes you had, which was, so somebody called you a gangster with a PR campaign, which I quite like. It's kind of funny. But you said not in retaliation, that we never think about the crimes the cops are fucking making. Okay, the last few years, it's all over the place because we've all got a camera that we can start filming immediately. We see it now. But it was always that way.
No, it was that way. So in my power...
And Giuliani's on the case right now with his broken windows and his anti-graffiti and fair...
So I was right there.
And you're there.
So now I'm there, right?
Yeah.
I just had the first uni.
Yeah.
I got a professor now that's standing with me. I got to preach. I let the outside influence in. They had congregations. They had friends who I said invite them in. So then all of a sudden the Nation of Islam wanted to come talk. I talked in the Day of Atonement with Farrakhan with 12 mothers whose sons were killed by cops, and I got them on the stage with Mr. Farrakhan
Great.
in front of the United Nations. I've marched with Lolita Lebron, which is LFLN, who shot up the Senate House for the freedom of Vieques and Puerto Rico being a territory for the United States. When she came home after doing 25 years, she said, tell King Tone I want him to be my security. You know what an honor it was? Yeah. She was a hero to me. She fought the Marines on the beach with Albizu Campo. See, these are names I didn't even used to know.
But you had done your study on your history.
Because I was in jail and I didn't want to waste.
I read some old articles from just before we met. Yeah. I didn't have a lot of time, but the cops were clearly puzzled by all this. They didn't seem. They go, what the fuck is he doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Why is he doing?
Why is he not killing? Yeah.
So right when I got the universals, it takes track. We getting 4,000, 5,000, 7,000. Rhode Island, Florida, Connecticut, Texas, Cali. People were coming to the universe from other states. So the first message was for me was, I was lost. We had the community now. We knew how to self-invest. I taught them how to do the Grito Reyes. It's a paper.
Right.
We came out with a weekly paper. Yeah. And every king that cut hair had a business, advertised in it.
Yeah.
So every month we showed the people where to go to put their money back with each other.
Yeah.
There was mandatory T-shirts that I made.
Merch.
So I made 500 T-shirts, and I made one for Brooklyn, one for Manhattan. Then I made 200. I used to tell the leader, you bought this already, because they can't come here without that.
Right.
That's the bulletin board.
Yeah.
And it brings money in so there. Now the cops are in.
Yeah.
And Giuliani's mad because something happened. And this is how it. Miss Bias is a lady from the Bronx. It's a famous case. You can look it up. This cop named Lavoti. The kids were playing football, three brothers. His name is Anthony Bias.
Yeah.
The football hits the car. It's a famous case. It's one of the first biggest ones.
Yeah.
Lavotti's with the sergeant, so he tries to improve. It's right in front of the mother, father, in the porch. He argues because the football hit the car. He got so enraged that he started holding the kid, which turned to a scuffle, and the famous chokehold happened. And Anthony Bias dies.
Yeah.
He kills him in front of mother and father. So make it long after the university, I got the traction. The pastors, the government, nobody will help these 33 mothers that while Giuliani was mayor, their sons were killed suspiciously by cops. Nobody would stand with them. So when they went to rally, it was 33 mothers, speak, cops would laugh. So one day she called for me. They said, go to the Bronx, there's this lady want to see.
Right.
And look at the amazing, her son was named Tony, like mine.
Yeah.
So real quick, I went to see Miss Byers and she was like, yo, I need you. And I said, what's up? She said, nobody's helping me. Could you help me with the Kings? And I was like, yeah. She said, I'm going to meet you other mothers, but we got one problem. I said, what's up? Because now we needed a cause, you get it?
Yeah.
I didn't have a cause yet.
Yeah.
I had the remedy of healing,
Yeah.
but I said, we need a cause. And when that mother told me to support her, it gave me an identity.
Yeah.
Police brutality.
Yeah.
No justice, no peace. That was our
Yeah.
motto. So I told her, we with you. I was on light because I was already seeing fame. You know where I'm going. Yeah. And when she told me, but I don't want you to make this about the Kings.
Okay.
This is about our sons. Okay. And they hit me. God humbled me. He said, see, you ready to show off, nigga. So I told her yes. The first rally she threw, she told me, bring some people. I said, we be there. So I remember I get there. King's always late. We street guys.
Yeah.
So I'm there about 6 o'clock. The cops got two little barriers. It's in front of the 48th precinct. I see them giggling. The mother's there again feeling hurt. And there's like 12 of us there. And she's disappointed, And I'm a little scared because this is my first time organizing and promoting a rally that's nonviolent. So real quick, before I brought them there, I brought two Marines, and I brought the Black Panther Collective and Reverend Torty to teach us crowd control, crowd incitement.
Yeah.
How to look for CIs within the crowd that throw bricks to incite the Kings.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
So we learned to be disciplined. Then I put them out there. And when I came out there was only a few of us, and I was praying, and I kid you not. Then like 7:30, every fucking train that stopped in that station and fucking car that parked were Kings. So about in an hour and a half, we had close to already like 1,900 people. Then we start marching down Fordham Road. So the Puerto Rican people in a Puerto Rican community see me call down from the Bronx Supreme Courthouse. I closed down because we were marching the 48, the precinct. It was thousands of people, bro. I can't explain it. Helicopters with the light, the cops on the roof, because they finally said, he's here. This dude is real.
Yeah.
So I had thousands of Kings.
Where was Blood in all this? Was he?
He's in jail now.
No, but is he given? He's
like, because this is him.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm going to trial, and I ain't got one thing to say that's good about me.
Yeah.
You're doing it now.
Yeah.
So I'm building him his defense.
But he agreed with what you were trying to do, right?
Fucking all day. 100%. So I won him over. So at the end, with all these kids there, I remember the helicopters and the public is scared.
Yeah.
Because Miss Byers talk, I never seen the mothers and those fathers. I cried. So powerful.
They were proud, yeah.
They fucking talk for the first time on the mic.
It's actually a lot of these things are about fucking just basic respect.
They wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
And they finally seen the police, instead of laughing, with fear in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I remember, there's a true story. The father, Mr. Bias, comes to me, says, he said, I'm tired of being laughed at. He had a gun, this father, and he was going to do something to a cop. Because you know how regular people want to prove to a gangster they would do something?
Yeah.
And I said, Mr. Bias.
I won't be doing that today, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. I said, Mr. Bias, give me that. Don't worry. We're going to shoot them like they've never been shot before.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. So then we had everything to rally. The cops were scared. They, like I said, the guns in the roof, and the people were looking again. So I called my call. Lion formation! And my Kings automatically know. Because they were taught. They made a circle. Within a circle, with a circle. Thousands of kids doing a circle without people talk. And now you see the media and everyone. They fucking know how to do cadences. Look, they're marching. They're doing right. So we made a circle, long story. And again, because I used to love to show the public, because I knew like you said, I knew on TV and everything. Nothing seems so crazy when you see 1,000 gangsters get on their right knee, throw up a crown, and say a prayer to God while guns are pointed at them. And that's when I stood up, I said, it's quite clear who's the aggressor here.
Yeah.
It's quite clear.
Was Gandhi an important guy in your life? Did you read about him?
Gandhi, the writings, actual writings of Martin Luther King, Mandela, Malcolm, of course. Many authors I got into.
Yeah.
But I mastered Gandhi's. Gandhi touched me with the nonviolent move.
It's very strong.
Smart man. Yeah. He knew how to lead
his people. Handle cops. Are we now coming to the time when you went back into the Nick?
That's back to jail?
Yeah.
No, right? I want to show you why Giuliani came against
us. Yeah.
So in that time, Giuliani
This is his new...
Giuliani thinking...
Yeah.
This fucking kid
it's
is
kind
saying...
of bollocks, right? That's bullshit, really. The broken windows thing is not...
No, that was what I was saying.
Yeah.
It was fake. 2 or 3 guys in the corner, they stop you, they beat you, they take you, they humiliate, threw you on the floor. Just humiliate you.
Yeah.
So I was against it. So what finally happened, like I told you, I got the Zulu Nation, the Bloods, I got the Nietas, I got all the gangs of New York to meet with me in our Sharpton's place. We made a treaty. And we formed the United Families Coalition. And that was the first brutality movement that we did as a group against Giuliani. And we came out on TV and told him, you're a liar, you're a piece of shit. I used to call him and Bratton Pinky in the Brain. Have you ever seen the cartoon?
Yeah.
And it's Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah.
Pinky in the Brain. One's the genius, one's the saint. And I sang that in front of City Hall. And he found out that I was someone that he had to fear.
Did you ever meet him?
No, what I did to him, I got this close to him. He told me, spit, I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's, and you'll be in jail in 6 months. You know what I did on a Christmas meeting?
He called you that?
Yeah, right in front, because he was lighting the Christmas tree. City Hall was lying, giving free coffee. What he didn't know, I had 800. The mothers all dressed, no black and gold, no signs, and he was throwing his Christmas party, and they thought they were going to have fun, and I put my whole membership on the line where he was going to come and pull the switch for the tree.
Yeah.
And when he came to do it, all of a sudden, I was on a tree. I remember climbed up a high tree because nobody could see me. When I was there, they knew there was going to be a rally.
Yeah.
From the tree, I blew the whistle. And you seen the mothers, each son come up. And him and his wife had to pass each fucking murder victim.
Great.
And it was war after that.
Yeah.
How dare you come to my house and embarrass me?
Yeah.
He said, they got me out the tree. Gang. So the gang force became friends with me to show you. The good cops, they were like, this is great, but get me in trouble, man. Get the fuck out of here. All of y'all. Yeah. So I had a unit, so we became a battle. Me and Giuliani became a battle. And it wasn't a battle about he's a mayor or like you said. It was that this man was giving medals to people who shot innocent kids without guns.
Yeah.
And he was oppressing our people. And he was lying that crime went down without him. The reason crime went down is because the public got wise to that drug, crack, and dope. And we reverted back to weed, which got the kids mellow.
And there's also a theory that's the abortion law that came in. Because suddenly lots of potentially broken home kids didn't get born. Also made
they came in hard.
Yeah.
So after that we battled, and that's when Giuliani set a case to get me next after blood. And within the years, like I said, I always told the public, we didn't change. We're trying to change.
Yeah.
But how could I change if I took away all their guns and you didn't give me one job? They asking for their guns back. Get it?
Yeah.
And that's when me and Giuliani went to war, and that war ended with him getting me an indictment, the biggest indictment in New York City history. I was the #1 man wanted in New York City. Didn't have a car, didn't have a license, was broke, and I was
going from house to house and all stuff like that? Were you
jumping? Yeah, of course, because landlords would throw me out after they seen everybody that comes. So I looked powerful on TV, but very much powerless in the sense of community value. Get it? So when he got me, they charged me with conspiracy to be a lookout to a drug sale. 130 co-defendants. None of them a murder case. Raided us 4:30 in the morning, all of us, me first. Not 1 kilo of cocaine, not one gun out of 130 gang leaders was found.
Right.
Now you can't fake that. We didn't know you were coming. It's that my leaders was changed. You get it? The whole leadership changed. They got me. They gave me, because of my 3 past felonies, I was looking at 40 to life. So then my partner, they took her to turn a state's witness. and they made a lie and gave her money. So then I got brothers and a priest to find the safe
girlfriend.
house. My wife.
Your wife.
The mother of my child. Not now. I brought her back, stole her from the safe house, brought her in with all the receipts and the lies they told her the day. The judge, I swear, hit the thing. He said, y'all better talk about a deal because this is going to get ugly. And they offered me 13 years. And you say, Tone, how could you take 13? Because I knew they were going to kill me. I knew they were going to sink me under like blood. 145 years, never to see a human being. So the DA didn't know when she offered it. I usually go to trials because I went 5 state trials and 2 feds and I beat them. But I never had co-defendants. Now I had 130. 30 of them turned informants immediately. Right. So I want to tell that to most power groups. That loyalty shit and all that ends when you get to the federal court. It is you who eats you. It is you who tells on you. So when I seen that whole man, they gave me 13 years for that conspiracy to be a lookout.
We're in 99 now, yeah?
Yeah, 99, 98. They gave me 13 years and they gave me 3 without human contact, 23-hour lockdown, where 1, I was considered a low in prison because I had no points. I had no violence in my record, just drug sales. And I was in every
so you're in solitary for 3 years.
3 years, no human contact. And then they put me the rest of my bid in penitentiary.
Tell me what that was like. You're in a tiny room and they throw the food under the door to you.
No, they got a flap. Opens a middle door.
Yeah.
So I wrote in a book of that experience and I called the slot that they open to feed you. I said, I find myself in my mother's womb, but it's not of flesh and bone, of steel and rock. And in this room, I get fed through the very hole that I breathe and I see, that I look for the freedom, I placed it.
Yeah.
I really took a look at my brand. Even though I was successful, I was in there as a political prisoner, I really didn't recognize that I had some real screwed up, still, understanding of what was an activist, of what was really being 100%.
But you're getting up every day, you're pacing the thing,
So what I did...
Do you have books and stuff that you...
So you get 1 book every 3 days. So I've been through a book called twice.
You
read
memorized
the same
them.
ones, minutes, pages. But what I did was I had...
Did you see any humanity? Did you see any acts of human kindness from your jailers ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to clear that. So people know. It's like anywhere in the world. Dudes see me on TV that was COs and they was done like, fucking good job, Tony. Here's the extra pillow. Here's a little blanket. I know dude is punishing you. Yeah. Then the one that come at night, open my cell and throw out, you think you're a king? You ain't getting no phone calls, get it? But it taught me that aspect. Not all cops are bad. Not all Muslims are bad. You don't get. I've learned that it's life. You're gonna have good and bad and everything. Yeah. So my philosophy on that changed. They're all pigs. They're all evil. So I learned to support the good one and go after the bad. You get it?
Yeah.
Like I want it done to my kings.
Yeah.
When you vote for the bad guy, leave the good guys alone. They're not involved. Yeah. So I learned to be still and let God be God. So when you became a king and I became such a great leader, I thought
Did you ever get suicidal? Did you ever think of ending it?
And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't, because the when I was suicidal was when I was a crackhead. But I knew damn well I was in that cell.
13 years is a long time.
But listen, that was the proudest I ever been in my fucking life.
I get it.
I knew everything they were doing to me. It wasn't because I sold a bottle of crack. It wasn't because I killed nobody. It's because I put the fear of God in the motherfuckers. The system finally heard the youth in New York State say, we don't like this and we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
I think America has caused and called many wars. The war on drugs, the war on gangs, the war on crime.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear him say the war on poverty?
No.
What president had the balls to say war on poverty? Get it? Mm-hmm. So I know the misdirection of the energy towards our youth. The adults have now made laws and circumstances where our youth that are poor, if you're white, black, or if you're poor, 90% you're going to touch something in clean.
I'm also intrigued as well by the fact that revenge is obviously a huge code thing in violence and gangs and
Chicago.
Exactly. And you seem to have, even from when you were young, been able to temper that, because it is actually a very unhealthy emotion to let eat, because it eats you as well.
So I taught my kids that. I said, when you take something that precious that isn't yours to take, you also inherit it that soul you stole from that body, you think it's going to heaven or hell, it's going straight in your motherfucking mind and heart.
For the rest of your life, yeah.
And the motherfuckers were in the shoe with me 24 hours. And they used to tell me. You get it? All those people I hurt for whatever reason I thought I was so right when I was right.
They were there with you still.
They never leave you. And they never leave you alone. And you don't, I'm saying I killed them, but I was part of a team that seen these things.
Yeah.
And knew and in my heart, I was guilty because I could have prevented some of it if I just had the courage to speak up. Get it?
You came out in 2007. I want to talk to you a little bit about Trump and all the bullshit that's going on now. But just to finish your story, you set up Grow Up, Grow Out. I want you to talk a little bit about that.
So after the 3 years, solitude confinement, in that solitude, I found the courage to start writing. And I thought about Grow Up, Grow Out. And the reason I say Grow Up, Grow Out, because I believe that power groups, I don't call them gangs, are just like the Boy Scouts in college and everything. They're the immediate response and need to a person in help in their poor poverty neighborhood. But what I'm trying to show them, it doesn't supposed to be forever. It ain't Peter Pan world, goddammit.
Yeah.
The gang is just a part of your life like anybody else's. When they go to high school, you grow up out of that shit.
Yeah.
So you might be a gangbanger in primitive stage. This is what I teach. Then you go to the conservative stage where you say, damn, I'm doing a lot of stupid shit. I just don't want to be down with it.
Yeah.
So you're really confused, so you don't even report to the gang.
Yeah.
And then you go to the new king stage. You're comfortable in your skin. Yeah. You're comfortable being a king, but you understand that it doesn't have to involve criminal activity.
Yeah.
That I can have my wife, my son, and hey, amor del rey, and keep walking and don't have to duplicate or act like those that still didn't find that path of growing up and going out.
Now, a lot of people have leveled, that's just bullshit. You're just trying to cover for something. You know, there people are. I love reading some of the New York Times articles about you because they can't get their head around it. Now, there's a trick here. There's a trick with this guy. He's up to something. And you're not.
What prophet?
Yeah, exactly.
What man that brought a good message was never looked at by the Pharisees, by the government as suspicious, as conniving. Remember,
the late great JC.
You know what I've learned? The law was written by the first man who broke it.
Very good.
I learned that what they were teaching me was what I needed to know to hold me down. In that, when I learned to be free, I learned the steps that I use in my marketing. So a perfect example, HBO and all that you see? But a lot of people don't know that, like TED Talks, and they could test this. You go to all my members, all that shit was scripted. I fooled prime time. They slept with me 6 months and they didn't know I was pulling skids on them. Not because I was fake.
Yeah.
How the fuck I'm gonna take prime time when I'm rolling up on guys that are selling drugs and I'm preaching this message? Shit, somebody could get killed. But I knew I was doing it, so I knew how to make it like they do now, how to script it. So I would put Kings as Bloods and all that and show them what I was doing, but it wasn't the real thing. They came to destroy me. I said, there's gonna be negative. But when the fucking Kings see me on TV, 1,000 dethroned it, seeds are gonna be planted everywhere.
Right.
And sure enough, they came begging for interviews. And that's my brother. We put skits on that had prime time, hard copy, everybody playing us. These kids are this. And me and my boys are laughing. That look at people still hate me about those things. And when me and my brothers tell me it was skits, they still can't believe it. They said, no, that was real. Until I really show them, and when they see the guys in the red light, they say, that's Nova. So you see, you dumb motherfucker. Because it was dangerous for me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I made them understand, I'm fucking using the machine against themselves.
What is your, 2017, what is the core of your message? Because I know you want to help young people. The Grow Up, Grow Out is, hey, get over yourself. What is your core message to Hispanic Americans in this time of fucking Donald Trump, and to a young kid who is like you were, who's maybe tonight staring up at the stars because he's had his first drink somewhere in Brooklyn?
I tell you, don't turn a moment into a lifetime. Turn a lifetime into moments. And what I mean by that is live your life simple and slow. And I teach kids that it's all right to be a kid. And I teach the parent to accept the failure as a learning mechanism that all kids did in the history of the world to get where they are, right? Love, respect, honesty, unity, knowledge, and love. Build a community, Don't be afraid to let other people come in and help you. And then the last thing I tell them, act, goddammit, act! Puerto Ricans, blacks, Latinos, Mexicans, y'all all caught up in these little groups and this Black Lives Matters, women's rights against Trump. It doesn't mean shit till y'all get together. So this is what United Family's motto was. Agree to disagree. If I don't dig why you taking me to that rally like it isn't in our structure of who we are, we'll send representatives, not the whole contingency. To show condonance and unity and the right as a gay, you have to be here, like the Kings do. But I don't bring us all because you know we don't believe in the lifestyle. But we won't talk against you in the media. Like, what the fuck? We don't go with the faggot. You get it? I taught my...
Do you think America is more racist today than it was in 1980?
Of course. Let me tell you why. President Trump is the reflection of what America's presidents were always made to be, businessmen. I don't believe the Declaration of Independence, all of that was written for us, the people. We wasn't people then. We were property. It was written by businessmen, creating a country on business, built on the backs of people they consider nobodies. It evolved, but my point is, so we had this articulate brown man named President Obama. And for a black man to win that prestigious spot, they told us, a president is classy. He talks right. He's not a racist. That office holds this prestige about it that it changes you. And here comes Trump saying, fuck that, I'm a cowboy. And that black did a lot of shit that we gotta erase because this is our country.
But the problem is that that prick got the beaten down person to vote for him.
You know what I called it?
I mean,
you know what I called it, people? The white whip. And let me make it explain. Remember the slave got whipped?
I get it, yeah.
So the white whip was the same inspirational message, Trump ain't a dummy, that Obama used to wake up the college kid, the downwritten like me, the gangster that went and voted for the first time, because they seen somebody that talked like them, looked like them, act like them. We believed in his message as a black man in hope. Trump gave that same hope to the same kind of people, but that were white. What I'm saying, that were forgotten. Because there's a lot of white people in America that are living in trailers that don't got money. So America isn't about black racism, it's about rich racism. It's about money racism. I see some white people that they treat like black people. They don't got lawyers, they don't got money. You get it? They become up.
No, I mean, to me the word is, the world, not just America, inequality is getting out of fucking control. It was always there, but it was under the carpet. Pushed out, as you said, you took the place of a ghetto when the Irish fucked off out of it, when we made a few money building houses. The Jamaicans had to come in when the Ricans got to a point, right?
Exactly.
But you know what? No one goes over there. That's for all the fucking poor people.
That's right.
And that is starting to get back on agendas, and people are starting to get fucking upset about it. And I think, I was going to ask you, do you think that we're going to have a tipping point? Do you think that we're going to, someone said that maybe it's the end of the end. Maybe what we're experiencing now is the end of the end. Maybe Trump is like that fucking, the darkest hour is the hour. Because if there's one thing he's done, he's got a lot of people fucking pissed off.
No, and it's good, right?
In a good way.
No, of course, we need it. A wake-up call, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think Trump is the worst of the worst yet.
You mean there's more to come?
There's more to come because, as all the good books show you, the Hebrews, when they were under Pharaoh, became complacent, like Puerto Rico. We don't need a president, just give us mayor. We want to be a state. Please keep giving us welfare. Keep giving us, we become dependent on our owners. So it's the sad point that I think darker, because right now I'm calling for a cry, right? My plan is to call for a cry for all the power groups in the United States of America. Right now I got all the founders of the Bloods, the Crips, of the major gangs, I'm talking to them. Imagine if we had in New York, and we go to DC, with all the power groups in America, 1 million of them in front of the White House flying blue, black, red, and taking their most intellectual work. I don't want
Take an avenue east.
I don't want to wrap up there talking. No, I want the lawn. I work for DC's governor. I'm in so my dream is to bring all these gangs for the first time and show on DC's lawn in front of this, right there in the Capitol.
The memorial,
that Kings, Bloods, Crips, we're back. This is our home. We're fighting. We could be here. We don't kill each other. You have given us the direction.
Do you think it could descend to violence?
Yes,
I mean, you saw those fucking pitchfork-wielding supremacists with torches. They had fucking torches. What?
You see, and this is my point, and he called them good guys. My point is, imagine if we were there, the kings. You get it?
If they were blacks.
Black. Because the point is, good sometimes have to hit back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
and I want the community to hit back.
Yeah, do you think it could?
Yes, it could, as if it wants to. And that's why
Might it have to?
I cry because you go and you say, yo, like people like me, these gangsters that have turned their life around in our president message, is our own brothers that want to stay in the bottom, that say, oh, you a snitch now, or you working for the system, and you see that fake news is real news.
Yeah.
And the real news cannot exist.
And it can be very damaging.
See? So my point to you is, can it happen? Yes, it can. But I really think that they need to take an example from me, the Kings, all those that did it in 94, 95, 96. We evolved every organization and tell them, come to the table understanding that this is not about you. That's not the main cause. The cause is that this man's got to see the other united again. And we could take care of that separate shit somewhere else, but when we ring them, blow the alarm, the trumpet, we show up together.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. I totally
do. You get what I'm trying to teach?
And as someone who's lived in America, I think at the start of our conversation I said that was the most disappointing thing to me. That almost the system encourages, enjoys, likes division, likes when there's this stuff, doesn't like unity, doesn't like the fact that a black man and a yellow man and an Irish man and a Hispanic can walk down the street arm in arm under a protest. And I think that's the message I'd like to give to people listening.
What I want you to remember is, like I said, the first one who broke the law made it. Remember, this group of rich men and men that came from England did treason against the king.
Yep.
And the way they did it is they formed a gang. Mm-hmm. And it was a mixture of gangs, and they were mixed people. The power they had to take one of the world powers and chase them out of their land. Do you think they're going to forget that and let any of us ever copy that shit again? You don't get it?
I think you know what? I think it'll always happen.
No, but you get the point.
Yeah.
They knew they were a gang in the beginning. Yeah. They knew they started at outlaws and civil disobedient.
Yeah.
They seen what they won.
Yeah.
And they're going, that's the number one thing we got to take from the American Indian, the Latinos, and everybody that comes, their identity. Their self-identity, and make them what? Made in America. Yeah. Made in capitalistic. Those values shit in that family shit, come on!
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling kids today. Listen to me, kids. A system has been built to keep us from rising to the top. Gangs, drugs, all that shit is around, but that is no excuse for you to turn your back on your God-given right to defend not only the freedom for your existence, but for the one you want to bring into this world so he can live free too. So my 4-year-old deaf son, I want him to have coverage because he's deaf. He need cochlear implants. I need insurance. I need to fight for my son because my father was a renter his whole life. I want to own a house so then my son starts, I got a house.
Yeah.
Now, you get it? We've stopped caring about the next generation, self-loathing on what we're suffering through. Yeah. We've become cowards to fight. For real. That Braveheart shit, man. I used to love that shit when and he stood that, and I love that movie. It's just anything that's a freedom fighter that's willing to scream out. Leave us alone. We want to be free.
You can take away our women, but you cannot take away our freedom.
You can't take our freedom.
That's a good place to end it. Antonio Fernandez, that was thank you so much for giving me so much time, by the way.
But I hope I didn't talk too much.
You did not. I just loved that. I was a bit nervous coming in here, but I thought I just see a man who's got care and passion and humanity in him, and I just wish you every luck in the quest that you're trying to do and the change you're trying to affect.
Thank you, and it's a blessing to meet someone like you. Keep making these part messages to our youth because they need messages. They need us to translate
Look after
what
yourself.
they don't understand.
Look after yourself.
Thank you, bro.